Welcome everyone to GTW Dystopia. We're sold out live here at Bowling Green, Kentucky. And we're going to be starting off as we now have the return of the chosen one, Steven Dynamite, making his way out to the ring with this adoring, screaming crowd. It was back at State of Emergency when Steven Dynamite was taking on the bad boy Benjamin Bourne for the World Championship. He ended up getting a minor injury mid-match, causing him to be out for 2 weeks. And I don't know if he's cleared or not, but Dynamite is coming out live here on Dystopia. Not in ring gear, and he's definitely not on the card tonight. But it looks like he's got a lot to say to our sold-out crowd, the fans of Grand Tour Wrestling here tonight. Let's hear what the chosen one has to say right here on Dystopia. Bowling Green, Kentucky, your chosen one is here. That statement has never been more true, because after having the invoice checked by both April Cassidy and Charles Elliott, I am now fully medically cleared for in-ring action. That is the good news. The bad news is this. Kross. I've been watching Brawl while I was on medical leave. I know what you did. I know you set up the witch, and I know you pulled the strings that turned me against her. That turned Amanda against her. That nearly turned her own fans and family against her. There is no amount of apologies I can say that can make up for what I did wrong. The witch, one of my closest friends, a woman I trusted with my life, and I hurt her. I did that, and I have to take responsibility that I turned my back on her when she needed me the most. It was not fair, and nothing I can say will make up for that. I should have trusted her. I should have known that she never hurt Amanda like that. If I trusted her more, I would have looked into it. I would have discovered the truth. I would have known you and the Final Testament have framed her for a crime she never committed. Then maybe Amanda would not have done something as stupid as fake her own medical clearance and put herself in danger the way she did at State of Emergency. But that is a conversation for another time. Now let me tell you what I can do. Here's what I can do to atone for my sins. Kross, your actions have turned the witch's friends and family against her. You have effectively broken her spirit. You have had one of our own injured. Amanda ambushing her in her own locker room, and you indirectly cost us the mixed tag team titles, with me and Amanda never even losing the titles to begin with. I would say the witch making you say I quit in 5 minutes on Brawl was enough? No. No, I still think you need to pay. I know you're not here tonight. I already went to the top. Douglas Sebastian himself has sanctioned this match. Kross, next week on Brawl, it's going to be me and you one-on-one. No matter how many of your goons you bring with you, no matter what tricks you play, you will not be able to hide or run. Next week on Brawl, you are chosen. Look at this. The chosen one is here. Tell me, Dynamite, what show are you playing for? I'm a bit confused. Are you a dystopia now? Because the last I thought, you were drafted to Brawl. I can ask the same about you, Cisely. What brings one of Kross's goons here tonight? Well, it's simple. Me and Vandal will be facing the Wolfpack at Summer Bash for the mixed tag team titles. Your mixed tag team titles, as a matter of fact. I'm here tonight for them, but then I hear you coming out talking all kinds of things about Killer Kross, who you fully admit has knowledge that he is not here tonight. Perhaps you are afraid of him. Perhaps talking on a microphone when you know he is not here to answer makes you feel big. When the reality is, Steven Dynamite, you're just a coward. A coward, huh? Well, to tell you the truth, I just got clearance. I figured I announced my challenge tonight, so when I see your boss during Brawl, me and him can just get it over with. You see, I don't need to waste my time at Summer Bash. I have bigger fish to fry, but we will get to that after Brawl. But let us talk about tonight. Congratulations, by the way. You got a great opportunity. A chance to be one half of the mixed tag team champions. That's a pretty big deal. It is a shame you won't be defeating the actual champion for the title. You see, it's easy to win my belt when it's stripped from me due to the events of your boss. I guess you'll never know if you're actually the deserving tag team champions or not. Unless what? Since you want to get on your high horse, how about you try and take me on tonight for the main event? How about before I destroy your boss, Killer Kross? How about tonight you are chosen? How about you get in the ring tonight and find out that if you manage to beat the Wolfpack for those mixed tag team titles, which is no easy feat by the way, I should know, you will carry those belts knowing that even though you have the title, it will be in the name only because you could never, ever beat me for them. I accept your challenge, Dynamite. I will face you one-on-one tonight. So after I pin you for the 3, and when I go to Summer Bash and I win your title, you have to watch knowing that I am better than you. I'll see you tonight.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the European Championship.
And here we go, the European title about to be on the line. Hector Florence, who defeated AJ Styles last week on DYSTOPIA, about to take on Landon Knight. And this is a huge opportunity for this young man. Very new in the GTW roster, already getting a mid-card title opportunity. Landon Knight himself, also a very young, talented athlete. Winning the European title early on in his career. Will Hector Florence be able to step in those same footsteps and become European champion here tonight. And here comes Landon Knight coming out, the European champion. And in an interview earlier, someone was asking why he never seems to come out with the European title around him. We have it right here at ringside by the announcer's desk, already placed ahead of time. And he says that a belt doesn't make a champion, it's the title the champion acquires that makes him a champion. And refuses to come out with the belt, saying it's to him nothing more than a prop.
From Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, weighing in at 202 pounds, Hector Florence. And his opponent, from Yonkers, New York, weighing in at 213 pounds, the European champion, young Landon Knight.
Landon Knight taking a look at the European Championship. This will be his second title defense. Hector Florence eyes on the prize for tonight's championship match here. And here we go. Hector Florence goes for a cross body splash, nobody home. Hector Florence bringing the fight to the European champion, Landon Knight here. And he comes in with a huge drop kick. Landon Knight rolling out of the way. Hector Florence coming in. Those huge chops to the chest. Followed by a face buster into the ring mat. And both men now rolling out of the ring, fighting here at ringside. Huge leg scissors by Hector Florence, already gaining the advantage. You can just see how hungry he is, how much he wants to win the European title here tonight. Landon Knight sweeping off his feet, gaining the advantage. The fight continues outside of ringside. Now remember, Landon Knight has the champion's advantage. The title cannot change hands from disqualification or ring out. Hector Florence cannot win that title if any of those two things occur. All Landon Knight really has to do, if he really wants to retain the title, is either use a weapon to get himself disqualified or keep the fight outside the ring. And whether win, lose, or draw, if the match ends in those two ways, Landon Knight would retain the championship, hence why he has the champion's advantage. Hector Florence now throwing Landon Knight into the ring, fully aware of that champion's advantage. Now bring him into the corner. You can just see the focus on Hector Florence's eyes. He wants that title so badly he can taste it. Landon Knight going for the pin. One, and a kick out by Hector Florence. He goes driving him into the corner. Now bring him to the top rope. Reverse superplex right off the top rope by Landon Knight. Will that be enough to put the challenger away? 1, 2, and a kick out by Hector Florence. Drop kick, nobody home. Hector Florence moving out of the way. Now setting him up. Oh, and you can just tell Landon Knight took damage from that one as Flores now makes his way to the top turnbuckle. Flying frog splash. Going for the pin, for the title. Will this be enough? 1, 2, no! Landon Knight getting the shoulder up at the last second. This title match continues. Flying moonsault. Landon Knight reversing with a code breaker. Avalanche neckbreaker by Hector Flores, doing all he can to damage Landon Knight. A stomp to the forehead. Landon Knight trying to retreat outside the ring. Hector Flores on the second rope. He goes to kick it for good measure. Double axe handle. And here he is, waiting for him to get on his feet. To right hand. Landon Knight reversing. And Flores is down. And now Landon Knight going for a submission hold. The question is Hector gonna tap out here? No, he manages to pull the grip and takes him down. Swinging DDT using the corner as leverage. Landon Knight barely getting to his feet. And here comes Hector. Running drop kick right into the face of the European champion. And now he's got him in an accolade. Landon Knight in the middle of the ring. Is he going to tap out? Hector Flores putting everything into it, and Hector taps out. Sorry, Landon Knight taps out. Landon Knight taps out. We have a new European champion.
And new European champion, Hector Florence.
Amazing victory by Hector Florence so early in his career. 3 matches in, and he's already the GTW European champion. Ladies and gentlemen, we still got a lot more action coming up. That was just our opening match. Still to come tonight, we have Scott Storm continuing the Scott Storm Open Challenge. Who will be the one challenging Scott Storm tonight one-on-one? Also, a preview of what we're going to get at Summer Bash when Nancy Vandal and Tal Von Cisely take on Amy Zero and Zero Wolf. We got singles competition, Nancy Vandal versus Amy Zero here tonight. Plus, we got tag team action. Andre Armstrong and Brenda Bison, the Red Faction, have formally challenged Damian Maximus and Rebecca Troy, the Olympians, in mixed tag team action here tonight. Plus, our main event announced just earlier tonight. It's going to be Steven Dynamite, officially cleared for in-ring action, taking on Tal Von Cisely one-on-one. And if that's not enough for you, Steven Dynamite will also be on Brawl next week, taking on Killer Kross one-on-one. Dynamite going on all-out revenge on the Final Testament. That's all here to come tonight on Dystopia. Don't go away, we'll be back after this break. Damien, a word please. Of course, Dad. What is it? Congratulations on earning your title match, but why was Archangel there? I thought me and you were on the same page. You said the old gods were going legitimate. I've been giving them all opportunities in good faith that the days of Hercules is behind us. Father, Hercules is behind us. Thanks to your help and my efforts, he will never plague you again. What I said was true. The old gods are no longer a threat to you. Unless you make us one. Now if you excuse me, I have a big match tonight with the Red Faction.
The following is scheduled for one fall, making his way to the ring from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, weighing in at 220 pounds, Scott Storm!
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Scott Storm Open Challenge. Thus far has been dominating and trying to build his prestige. The only problem is there's only been one man who's actually been answering his challenges, and that's Joe Henry. 3 matches in a row now. I believe it's been 3 matches in a row now. Joe Henry has answered the challenge. Sorry, I got my information wrong. I want to be factual to my audience. 2 matches in a row now. The first one was at Declaration of Domination, where Joe Henry had responded. And then the second one, Scott Storm evidently said his name as an example and ended up calling him out incidentally for a second one, winning both matches. Maybe this time we'll be able to get an actual challenger for Scott Storm here tonight. It is once again time for the Scott Storm Challenge. I'm willing to take on anyone in that locker room. Anyone but Joe Henry. Oh, come on! You say his name, and he shall appear. Scott Storm, you should have already known that.
And his opponent from Edinburgh, Scotland, weighing in at 230 pounds, Joe Hendry!
And it looks like Joe Henry is going in for round 3 here. And Scott Storm's exact words were, I will accept a challenge from anyone but Joe Henry. Unfortunately, what he doesn't know is saying his name is basically an open invite. However, the crowd here in Bowling Green, Kentucky is not complaining as they're waving their hands side to side as we all believe in Joe Henry. We got Dancing Red Sox here in the live chat room going, he said the name and here he is. Yep, that was Scott Storm's mistake right there. He should have just said nothing at all and saw who came out. It's almost like a magic word or something. This will be the 3rd week in a row these two are going at it one-on-one. Will Joe Henry be able to break the losing streak here tonight? Or will this be the 3rd consecutive loss against Scott Storm? Scott Storm already had a great start here. You think like these two have wrestled each other so much, Scott Storm probably knows Joe Henry like the back of his hand at this point. He's already defeated him twice. going for a third victory here tonight. He said he would wrestle anyone but Joe Henry. It is an open challenge. Joe Henry is the one who answered, so therefore Scott Storm has to take him on once again. And there's Joe Henry with a scoop body slam on the Scott Storm. And there he is, driving the knee down. Lariat takedown by Scott Storm as these two fight here in the outside ring area. The referee beginning the count out. And here comes Storm on the top rope, double axe handle onto Joe Henry. This is down, just stomping away onto Henry there. Look at the pressure he's putting on his head. And like Joe, I hate to break it to you, but it doesn't matter how many times you answer the open challenge, you're not beating Scott Storm. He's already proven to be a better athlete. Even in this very match, sure, you might be having a minor setback, but he's been dominating this match for about 60% of the time. And yet, you gotta admire Joe Henry's heart in a minor way, as he's just not backing down, just keeps coming back for more. I don't know whether to call that brave or stupid. Storm with another scoop body slam on the Joe Henry, going for the pin. 1, 2, and another kick out by Joe Henry. Spear by Scott Storm. And this could be a quick victory. Scott Storm, every time he wrestles Joe Henry, learning faster and faster how to beat him. Now punk kick by Scott Storm. Brings him on to his Byron's carry. Cutter by Storm. 1, 2, and Joe Henry with the shoulder up, and the look of disbelief on Scott Storm's face. He could have sworn that he was going to get the win right there. Henry coming off the ropes. Nice reversal as he goes for gut punch. And Joe Henry with a Samoan drop. Henry's got him down. He's got to shake the cobwebs. He's got to capitalize if he's going to have any chance of winning this match. Just look how red, how bruised Joe Henry's body is from all those open hand chops and all those slams. He gets the choke slam in. Will that be enough to put Storm away? And Scott Storm with a kick out. Joe Henry unable to seal the deal there. Elbow by Scott Storm. And a cutter by Joe Henry out of nowhere. It's about as surprising as his appearance in an open challenge. And goes Scott Storm making his way to the top rope. Atomic elbow drop. And he goes for the pin. Will this be enough? Could Joe Henry finally get the win here? Another kick out by Scott Storm. There's Joe Henry coming off the ropes. And now the tables have turned. Joe Henry gained the advantage in this one-on-one match. Storm starting to fight back though. Goes for Irish whip, but Joe Henry goes right into the referee. Scott Storm acting much more aggressive. You can see how frustrated he is. Whether it's because Joe Henry keeps answering the challenge, or the fact that he seems to be a little harder to beat this time. Scott Storm throwing everything he has at him, refusing to lose. And here comes the pin again. 1, 2, 3, and Scott Storm with his third win in a row against Joe Henry.
Here is your winner, Scott Storm.
Scott Storm again with a victory. I call it impressive, but again, this is the third time he's beaten Joe Henry in a row. Maybe next week he'll be a little more reluctant to actually say his name. Coming up next here on Dystopia, we got Nancy Vandal versus Amy Zero, one-on-one in the women's division.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making her way to the ring, accompanied by Scarlett, representing the Final Testament. From Manchester, England, the archetype, Nancy Van Diver.
And here comes Nancy Vandal being accompanied to the ring by Scarlett. It almost feels like every member of the Final Testament is here on Dystopia except for Killer Kross. And after the humiliation he suffered in the hands of the Witch in that I Quit match on Brawl, who can really blame him? The main event lasting not even 5 minutes as the Witch nearly beat him to the point of him saying I quit almost immediately.
And her opponent, representing the Wolfpack from Charleston, South Carolina, Amy Zero.
And here comes Amy Zero, a member of the Wolfpack at Summer Bash. It's going to be her and Zero Wolf taking on Nancy Vandal and Tal Von Cisely. The winners will be crowned the new reigning mixed tag team champions. And tonight she's going to be going one-on-one against Nancy Vandal, a preview of Summer Bash. Amy Zero unwise though, not bringing the pack with her tonight. Nancy Vandal having no problems having Scarlett in her corner, which will definitely give her an advantage. Amy Zero playing Lone Wolf here tonight, because wanting to prove to her king, Castor Black, that she can handle this situation on her own, showing that she is worthy of being in that mixed tag team match at Summer Bash. And here comes Amy Zero with a huge clothesline onto Nancy Vandal. Jawbuster. Vandal going in for a helicopter, and there goes Amy Zero right onto the ground. She reverses with a code breaker, and you gotta give it to Nancy Vandal. I may not agree with the things she does, what she stands for, or how she goes about things, but I do gotta respect her as an athlete. Ever since making her debut to GTW, even before joining Kross in the Final Testament, she has proven to be an amazing athlete, as we just seen displayed right there in that moment. Nancy Vandal has proven to be a top competitor, maybe even good enough to take on the likes of the Witch. If the Witch had lost against Killer Kross in that I Quit match, it would have been Nancy Vandal who would have gotten the Grand Tour Women's title opportunity. She's even managing to keep someone like Amy Zero on her feet. Amy Zero, who is considered to be a powerhouse among the women's division. Amy Zero, who in her own right is a force to be reckoned with, and Nancy Vandal thus far has been holding her own. And it's running Zero against the ropes. And now Amy Zero going to reversal. And what a counter by Nancy Vandal. like I said, I don't agree with what she does. I don't personally like her as a human being, but you can't deny her in-ring skills are second to none. There she goes, making her way to the top rope. Vandal's about to fly, and it looks like her foot slipped. Her foot slipped on the rope, and Amy Zero looking to take advantage as she gives her a big boot. Zero basically crushing Vandal there. And now it seems the tails have turned. Amy Zero gaining advantage in this singles match. And I spoke too soon. Nancy Vandal bring Amy Zero back in the ring with only 2 seconds to spare from a ring out. Goes springing off the second rope. Nobody home. Amy Zero looking to take advantage. And oh my god, what a counter by Nancy Vandal. And now she's putting her in a half Boston Crab. That leg lock fully locked in. Is Amy Zero going to tap out here? You hear her just screaming in pain, and she manages to reverse the leg lock. Goes rolling Vandal into a pin. 1 and a kick out. Huge kicks by Amy Zero. And there she is, nearly knocking Vandal's lights out. And there it is. There it is. The real reason for Scarlett being out here. Distracting Amy Zero. Now she has her on the top rope. Scarlett throwing a chair into the ring. And a wheelbarrow bulldog. And it looks like she was going to aim for that steel chair. The referee catching it just in time. Probably saving Amy Zero from what could have been a devastating head injury. Amy Zero going for the riptide. Amy Zero with the finisher move, but she's not done with her yet. The riptide just wasn't enough. And Zero sizing her up, and nobody home. Vandal rolling out of the way. Amy Zero probably should have tried to capitalize as soon as she hit the riptide. Serton off the top rope by Nancy Vandal. Amy Zero dazed in the corner. And a missile drop kick. Vandal bring Amy Zero to the top rope. I can only imagine what sadistic thoughts she has in mind. And she goes for a German suplex, flinging Amy Zero across the ring. And here comes the pin. 1, 2, 3, and Nancy Vandal gets the win. A preview of things to come at Summer Bash. And there's Scarlett passing Nancy Vandal the chair. And there they are, muscling the referee out of the ring. And he's doing, wait, it's Alpha Heart. It's the Alpha Heart Ranger coming to... Alpha Heart coming to Amy Zero's rescue? Whoa, okay. Hey, that's something I definitely did not see coming. Of all people to come out to Amy Zero's rescue and end up being the Alpha Heart Ranger. Now, if memory serves, it was the Wolfpack, Amy Zero, being one of them, who had kidnapped Alpha Heart just a couple of months ago to try and leverage a title match from the Alpha Crimson Ranger. And now here she is, when Amy Zero being double teamed by the Final Testament, by Scarlett and Nancy Vandal with a steel chair. It was the very same person that Amy Zero helped kidnap a couple months ago, coming out to her rescue, and I'm wondering what that's all about. This is definitely leaving a lot of questions. Ladies and gentlemen, when we return, we have a mixed tag team match. The Red Faction versus the Olympians coming up next, followed by our main event, Steven Dynamite versus Tal Von Cisely. All here on Dystopia. Don't go away. We'll be back after a quick break. Are you sure about this match tonight? Rebecca has the Declaration briefcase. At any time she wishes, she could cash it in and steal your women's world title from you. The old gods have stolen your rightful opportunity to compete for the world title, and now Troy wishes to steal my title right from underneath my nose, Andre. No, this must be dealt with. There will be no cash-in tonight. And why did you say that? Because if the Olympians win, then Amber Charlotte will be granted a title match so long as Rebecca Troy does not attempt a cash-in tonight. Now let us leave, comrade. We have a message to send to Maximus and his gods.
The following contest is a tag team match set for one fall. On the way to the ring, the Russian gladiator, Andre Armstrong, and the assassin, Brenda Bison, the Red Faction.
The Russian assassin, Brenda Bison, the GTW Women's World Champion, alongside with the Russian gladiator Andre Armstrong, representing the motherland, as they're about to take on the Olympians, the team of Damian Maximus and Rebecca Troy. Damian Maximus, who had defeated Andre Armstrong last week on Dystopia, to become the #1 contender for the GTW World title, and will now be facing Benjamin Bourne for the biggest prize in Grand Tour Wrestling. And then you got Rebecca Troy, who won the Declaration of Domination briefcase. She is now Miss Declaration holder and has threatened both the Witch and Brenda Bison that when they are at their most vulnerable, at their most weakest, she's going to pick one of them and cash in to steal their title right from underneath their noses. Brenda Bison, taking it as a threat, has challenged the Olympians here tonight in tag team action.
And their opponents, the Olympian Empress Rebecca Troy and Damian Maximus, the Olympians.
And here comes the team of Rebecca Troy and Damian Maximus. Together they form the Olympians, a branch off of the old gods. With the defeat of Hercules, Damian Maximus has taken over the reins as leader of the old gods, now earning himself a world title match against Benjamin Bourne at the main event of Summer Bash. Rebecca Troy not bringing out the briefcase tonight, as promised, will not cash in tonight, under the condition that if the Olympians win, that fellow Old Gods member Amber Charlotte will get a women's world title match against Brenda Bison. We're going to start off with the two women in tonight's match. Rebecca Troy versus Brenda Bison. Brenda Bison immediately tagging in Andre Armstrong. Amazing teamwork by the red faction here. Reverse DT by Rebecca Troy. The Olympian Empress taking the fight to the Russian Gladiator. It was Rebecca Troy who climbed the ladder in a four-way ladder match, becoming Miss Declaration holder. She now attains a briefcase inside a contract, allowing her to cash in for any singles championship at any moment of her choosing. Tonight, she has not brought the briefcase out in good faith. The deal being that if the Olympians win, Amber Charlotte, member of the Old Gods, will have a shot at the women's title. Huge slap by Andre Armstrong. You can see there's a lot of pent-up aggression after losing to Damian Maximus. It was Maximus who defeated Andre Armstrong one-on-one last week to win his title match, to win a shot at the title at Summer Bash. Andre Armstrong taking that very personally. He's been trying to chase after the world title for some time now. And because of guys like Damian Maximus, because of guys like Steven Dynamite, Andre Armstrong has yet to be able to attain even a title match, let alone winning the title itself. Now we got the Women's World Champion in the ring with Damian Maximus. Maximus bringing Brenda Bison in the corner, and look at him scraping that arm across the face of the Women's World Champion. And looks like the Russian assassin has just had enough, taking down Damian Maximus. She goes in for an armbar. Maximus withering in pain. And here comes Maximus with a reversal. Right hands onto Bison. Snap suplex by Damian Maximus. The leader of the Old Gods, one half of the Olympians. Number one contender for the world title with a Samoan drop as he now tags in the Olympian Empress, Rebecca Troy, Miss Declaration holder, going one-on-one with Brenda Bison. And you can definitely tell for Rebecca Troy, this match is about sending a message. She is the Miss Declaration holder. She can cash that briefcase in to take away Bison's title anytime she wants. All she has to do is wait for when Bison is at her most vulnerable. Just has to wait for the right opportunity. Vice versa, she can also go after the Witch, who is on Brawl for the Women's Grand Tour title. She can go for any singles title, but let's face it, who has ever gotten that briefcase and only settled for a mid-card? Maximus with a devastating clothesline onto Andre Armstrong. The two men now legal in this mixed tag team match. And a stomp to the groin by Damian Maximus onto Andre Armstrong. After this match, we're going to be having our main event. We got Tal Von Cisely one-on-one with the chosen one, Steven Dynamite. Right here on DYSTOPIA. Two wrestlers exclusive to Brawl here on the Blue Show here tonight. Andre with a huge clothesline taking Damian Maximus down. Was the Irish Whip. Maximus with the reversal. He throws Andre into the corner. And it looks like he just punched Bison not once but twice while scraping his arm against Andre Armstrong. A 2-for-1, now tagging in Rebecca Troy. Troy going for the pin. 1, 2, and Andre Armstrong with a kick out. Rebecca Troy starting to get a bit frustrated here. Goes throwing a devastating knee into the skull, and now sizing him up. And here comes a cartwheel clothesline by the Empress Rebecca Troy. Here she goes, locking in a figure four leg lock onto the Russian gladiator, Andre Armstrong, withering in so much pain. And look at Rebecca Troy using her full body as leverage, and Brenda Bison with the save. Troy with a frog splash, now going for the pin. 1, 2, 3, and the Olympians take the match. This also means that Brenda Bison will now have to defend her title against Amber Charlotte.
And the Olympian Empress Rebecca Troy, the Olympians.
And it seems as of lately, the old gods, the Olympians included, have been dominating the dystopian roster. Coming up next, we have our main event for the evening. The Chosen One, Steven Dynamite, going one-on-one with Tal Von Cisely. A preview of things to come when Steven Dynamite goes one-on-one with Killer Kross on Brawl. But first, we're going to have a quick break. Don't go away. Dynamite versus Cisely coming up next. Look, I meant what I said last week. I won't steal the title from you. If I ever decide I want to cash in on you, it will be face to face, mano a mano, and we do it the right way. If I'm going to beat you for the World Championship, I want to do it like a man. Chris, let's get down to business. I want to trust you, I do. I want to believe we're friends. I want to believe that we have history, taking on the old gods, and blah blah blah. But in the end of the day, as long as you have that briefcase and I am world champion, I just can't put my guard down with you. You want there to be trust? You're going to have to really show it to me. It is now time for tonight's main event. Tal Von Cisely going one-on-one with the Chosen One, Steven Dynamite. Two wrestlers from the Brawl roster main eventing here on Dystopia. Going on right now. We're back, everyone, and it's time for tonight's main event. We have Tal Von Cisely about to make his way to the ring. It started all tonight when Steven Dynamite had announced, after per review from our two directors, April Cassidy and Charles Elliott, that he is now medically cleared to wrestle. His first order of business was to challenge Killer Kross next week on Brawl to get his own little slice of justice for the atrocities that him and the Final Testament have committed against the witch. Dynamite fully admitting that no apologies can make up for him mistrusting one of his closest allies, his closest friends. And the only way he can truly apologize to the witch is to go after Kross himself. Tal Von Cisely coming out tonight, calling Dynamite a coward, trying to call out Kross on a show he knows he's not on. And here's the thing, you got Tal Von Cisely and Nancy Vandal, after winning a qualifying match, have a chance to win the mixed gender tag team titles in a match against the Wolfpack. The mixed tag team titles are now vacant. Used to belong to Amanda Price and Steven Dynamite. And Cisely trying to use that to get into Dynamite's head, saying it's just gonna burn you that I'm going to win the titles that you never lost. And Dynamite challenging him in tonight's main event, saying that I want you to know that when you win those tag team titles, I want you to do it knowing that you could never actually beat me. And that's what tonight's match is about. First is to send a message to Kross, and second, to prove to Cisely that he is not worthy of a title that Dynamite never actually lost. Belt only taken off him because of a minor injury keeping him out for just a couple of weeks.
And his opponent from Long Island, New York, weighing in at 210 pounds, the Chosen One, Steven Dynamite!
And this here, Mr. Main Event himself, the Chosen One, looking to drive a point here tonight. He believes him and Amanda Price should still be the mixed tag team champions. Amanda Price faked her own medical clearance to try to take on the Witch at state of emergency. As soon as word got out that that happened, April Cassidy immediately not only stripped her and Dynamite of the tag team titles, but ended up suspending her until she got a direct note from the doctor that she'd be medically cleared. Of course, according to Dynamite, that's a conversation for another time. There's the bell. Dynamite starting off strong, high-flying move with a Chosen Cutter, using a signature move right off the bat just to send the message. Now coming in with a shooting star press. Tal Von Cisely, since coming into GTW only a few months ago, joining the Final Testament, has been a very dominant force, a powerhouse if you will, but has never taken on the likes of Steven Dynamite before. And here he is with a scoop body slam onto the Chosen One, onto that unforgiving floor. And I guess it doesn't matter how many high-flying moves Dynamite knows, when you hit the floor like that, with that kind of force, it's going to leave damage. Now halfway through the count out, Dynamite with a codebreaker onto the spine of Tal Von Cisely, now making his way into the ring. No, instead making his way to the top rope. We're halfway through a count out, Dynamite going for a high-flying move. And he disengages, seeing Tal Von making his way back into the ring. Underhook arm suplex by Tal Von Cisely. And Dynamite having no choice but to roll out of the ring to gain some distance. And what we have here is a case of agility versus raw power. Cisely has a lot of that. Dynamite is going to have to pull every agile move he has in the book to win tonight's matchup. Huge elbow by Steven Dynamite. Now he comes in, German suplex. And he only goes for the pin. One, and a kick out by Tal Von very early in tonight's main event match. Dynamite coming off the ropes. Tal Von blocking him with a shoulder. And a scoop body slam. Look at Tal Von just driving the knee right into Dynamite's skull as he takes advantage in this matchup, making his way to the top rope. And there he is, just driving the knuckles, going for the pin. 1, 2, and here's the thing, if Steven Dynamite loses tonight, what does that mean at Summer Bash? He can no longer claim that Tal Von never truly won the mixed gender tag team titles, and oh my gosh, and here we go, Tal Von, we forgot about his supernatural abilities here, uses some kind of telekinesis on the Chosen One. another thing is if Dynamite can't defeat Tal Von, how is he supposed to defeat Killer Kross? And Tal Von getting fired up. He can smell the weakness of his opponent. Dynamite though, moving out of the way, nobody home. Dynamite looking to take advantage. He goes under the Irish whip. Over. And a flip kick onto Tal Von Cisely. And he goes and roll him into a pin. Picks him up. And oh my gosh, just dropping all that dead weight onto Dynamite. But I think Tal Von might have hurt himself in the process there. He's looking a little sluggish after that slam. And here he is fighting through the pain, trying to keep the pressure onto Dynamite. Dynamite going for those elbows to the ribs to Tal Von Cisely. He comes springing off the ropes. Helicopter by Steven Dynamite. And now he's tuning up the band. Here he comes. Sweet chin music. Dynamite going for the top rope. Looks like a swanton bomb. And will that be enough? He goes for the 1, 2, 3. Dynamite with the win. Tal Von has to accept it now. Even if he wins the titles, wait, whoa, what's this? No! No way! Here comes, it's Dio Sebastian! Dio Sebastian out of nowhere! The lights just blacked out and Dio Sebastian out of nowhere just appeared and chokeslammed Tal Von Cisely! The Witch's big brother has just shown up and has just sent the final testament, a very big message. He's telling Kross all the way in DYSTOPIA that he's back. Big Bro is in the house and he's ready to clean up house. I don't know, I think Kross really messed up this time because not only is he marked by the Witch, and not only is he marked by Dynamite, but now Dio Sebastian has just made his return to GTW and took out his right hand, Tal Von Cisely. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who watch all the live streams here on Infinite Fantasy /twitch.tv, don't forget to follow to know when more live streams come to you to get that notification, and also subscribe to skip the commercials. But for the rest of you who watch all my material on YouTube at infinitefantasyif/youtube.com, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell to know when new episodes come to you. We got more live streams of 007 First Light coming up. We got more live streams of Star Wars Outlaws coming up. We got more Brawl and DYSTOPIA next week here on Twitch. And on August 2nd, we're going to be having our next pay-per-view event, GTW Summer Bash. It's an event you don't want to miss. We're going to be having Damian Maximus versus the bad boy Benjamin Bourne for the World Championship as our main event. We got Tal Von Cisely and Nancy Vandal versus Amy Zero and Zero Wolf for the vacant mixed tag team titles, and so much more. This is an event you can't miss. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm signing out. As always, may your fantasies be infinite.